What is going on, guys? Paul Ryan back at it again. I hope everybody's having a good night. A somewhat, well, not necessarily a big day, but some interesting things happening for the Cowboys. One being, I guess not so much interesting, but more so of a need, dare I say, a pressing need. But the Cowboys adding two cornerbacks, one D. Delaney and Troy Pride, for some depth, of course, after putting Kalen Carson on the IR and Josh Butler as well. And probably the biggest story, the bigger story, at least in my opinion, in Cowboys news today is Dak Prescott advocating, if you want to call it that, for Mike McCarthy to come back in 2025. I found that interesting. I first heard about it on the G Bag Nation, 1053 The Fan. Shout out to those guys. Always love their Cowboys insights and their discussions. Their discussions overall, but um, after hearing about it, I decided to go look online and just to kind of get some more information on it. And I saw Blogging the Boys talking about it, and it was Dak Prescott was doing an interview with Yahoo Sports, and he said that Mike McCarthy deserved another opportunity, albeit on his terms. And I found that kind of interesting. It's like maybe thinking that McCarthy might not want to be here. I don't know if that's what he was implying or not, but I guess that's just how I'm taking it. I did kind of wonder, also mention this in the article, but we know that Dak has been a someone who always says the right thing. He doesn't ever want to cause controversy. He doesn't ever want to throw people under the bus, things like that. Prior to this year, at least, we saw a different side of Dak when came to his contract negotiations, and I don't think he actually ever said anything really that was too off the cuff or dare I say disrespectful, but he was just a little bit more blunt about how he felt, and saying that he didn't fear the unknown, and he was fine to play in the future. Somewhat implying that, saying how many other great quarterbacks had been with a franchise for so long and then ended up playing on different teams. He was saying that was always a possibility, and that was those kind of comments were different to hear from Dak, and that's why I bring that up is because I wonder, is Dak just saying the right thing because out of respect for Mike McCarthy, or is he being honest? And I'm kind of thinking that he's being honest. It was only last season that Dak was second in MVP voting. And I know that this year, at the beginning of the year, it was the offense just could never really get going. The offensive line was kind of still gelling with two rookies. And even Dak himself, I mean, he was like not making the simple plays and the scheme and how the play calling and things like that just weren't where they needed to be. But I really do think Dak is being honest. I think he does like McCarthy, and I think they were a good pairing. It's just I think after what we saw last year and then the beginning of this year, in addition to the terrible playoff loss against Green Bay last season, we've just kind of had a bad taste in our mouth. But in all honesty, I think they even mentioned this in the article with Blogging the Boys that I think Mike McCarthy might be getting too much blame for how the season has gone, because when you think about the offseason and the lack of activity by the Cowboys and all the players that they lost, albeit the depth pieces, but they lost some key pieces and things like that. And then you're bringing in a new defensive coordinator and things like that. They just didn't really put McCarthy in a position to succeed. And I think, Dak probably understands that. I mean, they didn't put Dak in a position to succeed either. So, I just kind of found that interesting, man. I've been impressed with what we've seen from McCarthy and the Cowboys here lately. And it's a big game on Monday night. I think they actually might steal this one from the Bengals. I think the Cowboys have all the momentum on their side. And I've said it a few different times that I've been impressed with how this Cowboys team hasn't quit on each other and they haven't quit on McCarthy. And that could have been really easy to do. Again, when you think about McCarthy being on a 1 year deal and kind of being a dead man walking, I just think that really says a lot about these guys and probably how they feel about McCarthy. I won't be surprised if maybe some other players come out and, advocate for McCarthy coming back. And I'm kind of starting to lean that way as well. I don't think I would be as upset as I was maybe 6 or 7 weeks ago about McCarthy being the head coach in 2025. I think, again, just how the season has gone and things like that. I think McCarthy is. is a good coach, and I've always felt that way. But sometimes you think that a change might be necessary, and while I wouldn't object to a change. I wouldn't be upset about McCarthy coming back, and I think that with some better pieces, a good draft class, and with the way the 2022 draft class is starting to show out, and how the 2024 draft class was starting to look prior to injury, I think this team could really be cooking with something, and I think McCarthy could be a big part of that. But we'll see what happens. You got to take it 1 week at a time. But yeah, I just found that interesting. Dak supporting McCarthy. I think that says a lot. But let me know what you guys think. Do you think that Dak is maybe just showing respect to McCarthy, or do you think that there's some truth in Dak wanting to have McCarthy back as a head coach? Let me know in the comments. And as always, please make sure to subscribe to the channel. I'm Paul Ryan. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.